All right, the first ratchet we're going to use is the SKUSA. Here we go. It's kind of difficult with one hand to get it in here. I'm also using a 6-point, what is this, Craftsman socket, 12 millimeter, I believe, 12 millimeter. And it is a Craftsman. It's one of the old ones made in the States, so in case you were wondering. Sneak that thing in there. Yeah, it doesn't tend to go very well with one hand. Plus, I don't have a bench right now, and things are a little wiggly, so we're going to have to give it a smack, I think. So it's not going too bad, can't really see very well. I don't have a whole lot of room to work with in here. But as you can see, it's about finger tight now, so that's not too bad. So we'll pop this thing off because it's finger loose, and we'll go over to the other side and check out the icon. All right, we're on the same nut, opposite side. Going right here, we're using the icon, same metric, 12 millimeter Craftsman socket. I got a little better place to put the camera this time. So hopefully it's not quite as goofy. See if we can keep from breaking things here, especially a finger. All right, that wasn't too bad. It was a little easier on this side because I had less stuff in the way. But anyway, the ratchet did actually do what it's supposed to. I was concerned about that icon when I first got it. It didn't seem confident on the ratcheting mechanism. But after I played with it for about a week, it seems to have come along pretty good, and it's a lot more confident than what it was when it was new. I suppose I had to work the grease around in it and get everything working like it should have. Now we just got 2 nuts in the bottom. I'm probably not going to show you that because those are going to take me a little bit to get to. All right, rod number 1 is out. The bearing's looking pretty good shape. I don't see any brass in there. There's some wear, but at 10,000 plus miles, I would have expected much worse. But we'll pull out that other rod next and we'll take a look at that bearing. All right, this is the rod that I expected to have no problems with. As you can see on this one, it definitely needs a new set of bearings. You're seeing all sorts of wear in there. Quite a bit of wear in there. No big grooves. You can see them, but I got enough, I don't know, leather on my fingers, I suppose, where I can't really feel them very well. And this was the connecting rod that didn't hit the valve. This is the one that hit the valve. Realistically, I expected that to be far worse than what it really was. So let's go and head on over and let's go take a look at a crankshaft. Let's see how that looks. All right, I just swung back over here. I'm looking at the crank pin. Now, I'm looking at it. It does have a little bit of wear markage to it. What I'm really looking for, though, I want to sneak my finger in here. My little pansy finger here, because I got to wear gloves all the time at work, so I don't have any big calluses. And I want to run my finger over this crank pin here. And what I want to look for and feel is, do I feel any big ridges? You'll know it, you'll feel it. This is supposed to be smooth, really smooth. And I'm not feeling anything weird there. We'll swing over here to the other side quick. Get a little more light in there. I'm gonna have to move it again, I guess. Now over on this side, we can start to see a little bit of scuff on the front side to my right of the camera. We're seeing a little bit of scuffing going on there. Still, we can't feel any major markage going on. Nothing in there catches a fingernail. Nothing feels uneven. Now, when I had the 750 2008 Terex apart, because that one spun a bearing, on that one, you could look at the crank pin and you could see there was problems. You had this journal here, which was nice and smooth and looked nice and pretty, and then there was a drop and one hell of a step right here in the middle before it got to the other connecting rod, and that thing was just chewed all this shit. Now, personally, it seems that this is going to be for myself. If I choose to rebuild it, which I most likely won't because I just don't need it, I'd slap a new set of rods in this thing, seal kit, new chains, top end, rods, pistons, and I'd pretty much call it a day. I don't see anything overly worrying in there for what I use these things for. It's just work. But yeah, all in all, I'd say this engine got very lucky. It would have been a cheap rebuild. If I had to replace that crankshaft, you're looking about $1,800. And then that's a no warranty. Realistically, in these engines, if you're not gonna do them yourself, you just take it to your local dealer, drop it off, spend the $3,000 and get a warranted engine. I mean, that's about the best route. But I'm cheap and I don't do that. So we'll reconvene here in a little bit and we'll talk about the ratchets. All right, we just used the ratchets in a tight spot with relatively tight nuts. We had the SK USA and the Icon. Realistically, they both have a place. They're both good ratchets. What I like about the SK is it's got a smoother action. Just nice and smooth. The Icon also is pretty nice. It's just a little clunkier. Just doesn't seem quite as positive. But still, it is a nice ratchet. I was concerned, if you look at the two, the Icon's a little bit thicker than the SK, but they both fit in the same spot. They both broke the nuts loose. They both got the jobs done. So realistically, if you're budget minded, you might want to consider the Icon. This thing was like $32. The SK was $64. Pick which one you like. They're both nice ratchets. This one's just got a little better feel to it. As for the connecting rods, one's bent, one's not. I'm pretty sure this one's bent. And if I look down here on the actual connecting rod itself, it looks like it's got the beginnings of a crack right here. It could be a casting defect, but realistically, these things are cheap compared to an engine. So we just throw a new set of rods and bearings in it, pistons, pretty much run a glaze breaker through the cylinders and call it a day. That's what I'd say is pretty much the go-to in that engine if I choose to rebuild it, which I may not. But anyway, thanks for sticking along for this long-winded video. See you next time.